Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF 44 coming at you in another video. All right. So today's Wednesday. Tomorrow's the checkout day. I feel a lot better than I did yesterday, 24 hours ago, because, quite honestly, because I was able to make some breakthroughs in regards to my own mind, in regards to some things that were sent my way. My boy T, of course, I told you guys about findhelp.org, and I was able to call some people. They called me back while I was in the shower, and I called them back. So we're doing it. When I say they, I mean one of the many calls that I made last night. I made at least, I think I counted about 9 or 10 calls last night, knowing I wasn't going to talk to anybody, but of course leaving messages hoping to get called back today. And one of them did call me back, but of course, as I said, I was in the shower. So yeah, man, I woke up feeling pretty good. I had a really vivid dream last night. I don't know what it all entailed. It was a lot, and it was fun. I could tell you it was a good dream for a change. I got a call from my boy T this morning. He was telling me that one of our friends is on the street right now. And so I'm not going to put his information out there or whatnot. That's not important. But because I'm in the situation I'm in, I could give T some links on some things that could help him more immediately. So it's just one of those situations where you just understand, like, homelessness is real in LA. You can't afford to make no bad decisions. You can't afford to not know how to manage your money. You can't afford to lose your job. The only reason why I'm in this situation is because I allowed things to get this bad. I didn't have bad breaks. I made bad decisions within my mental health. And because I have a mental health concern, it coerced me into those bad decisions. But even people who work hard, very hard, can be one check away from this circumstance. And if they don't have the helping hand that may be available, or they don't have the outlets to contact people or whatever, if they got a couple of habits that maybe cost a little more than what they can afford when they lose their job, that can really send you into a spiraling situation. And a lot of people do, man. So I think that when I woke up this morning, the one thing I said, the Lord told me yesterday, give me a day. And I think what he meant by that is you're going to have a hard day. You're going to struggle a lot. But you're not going to feel the same way about it tomorrow. I thought that meant give me a day or I'm going to kill, like I was going to take myself out. But I don't feel nothing like I felt yesterday. It was almost like I was meant to feel all of that on purpose, so that I could relate to people who would ever feel that way. Since I had never felt that way to that degree before, now it was like I got a newfound respect for a lot of different lows. And even though my situation is nowhere near under control, I still don't know where I'm going tomorrow. I have a lot more optimism based on what I'm feeling alone. And when I get that call, it's like, dude, my boy T was like, do you have some links, some stuff like that for our friend? And I realized, I got a whole new understanding based on what I went through just yesterday of what a person is going through, or what they could be feeling, or just a little taste of what they could be feeling, or something that makes me respect it a lot more. And so that's what I think has been given to me by the Lord, is a respect for lows, a respect for poverty, a respect for not knowing where you're going to stay, having to, possibly be on the street. I understand that now more than I ever would have. If the squeeze would have happened, and I would have been given a lot of money, I don't think I would have respected anything about that. If I would have been in a situation where everything just continued to be the way it was, I don't think I would have had any of these respects, man. This is a valuable perspective, even though it ironically is that of very low value, as people would say, because we ain't got no money. But I'm telling you, man, I respect poverty and low mindsets. Being down and feeling like you want to quit. I respect that more than I ever would have before yesterday. And this morning I wake up with a newfound freshness about helping, or being somebody who can forward people links or things of that nature. I still ain't where I need to be. I'm still very much tired. You know what I mean? I felt really down yesterday, but it's almost like it's a new day, and I just feel like whatever is next, I feel like I've got a greater hold on how to approach it, I guess is the word I'm saying. Last night I had like I said, a vivid dream. One of the things that I had in my dream, I was walking around with my mom. She's in all of these dreams, all the bad ones, all the good ones. I've been dreaming about my mom every night. And this dream, I was walking with her. I don't remember all that was going on. It was so much. It was one of the dreams that had like 100 parts to it. But, I think it was one of those situations where the moral of the story was I walked into a room with my mama next to my side. And when I got into the room, I was holding a child. On the same side, it's like mom here. And then as you walk through the room, as soon as you get through the threshold of the room, suddenly she turns into a baby, a 2-year-old. And some guide of some sort walked up to me and said, "Meet Dominique, I think is what the baby's name was. This is your daughter." That's exactly what he said. And I was like, "Where's the mother?" And I heard a Speedy Gonzalez type of energy just fly by. Pew! I was like, "Oh, wow. Single father." That was the energy. Dominic is her name. Dominic Deloney. And I'm like, "Whoa. It's crazy. I don't know. I never thought of naming my kid that. I don't know if that's real for me. I hope to not be left alone with a child." But it was the dream. That was the gist of what I took from it. And then we ended up in a situation where we were fighting some type of battle. I had to put the baby down in another room and get next to the window and shoot out the window with some type of new space age weapon, shooting at some enemy that was fighting us. And we were able to kind of push the enemy off. It was like a big, huge, monstrous metal thing. It was like new technology that was trying to destroy the whole neighborhood or something. But we were fighting it. We had the right tools to shoot at it or whatever. Me and somebody else. And then next thing you know, I was on the train going to Staples Center. It didn't make no sense. I had all my Laker gear on, but I didn't have any. The game was about to start. I was headed to the Staples Center. I had all my Laker gear on, but I didn't have no tickets and I wasn't going to the game. It was a weird type of thing. I don't know what was going on with that dream, man. There was a lot of parts to it. But that's what I remember from it. Those are the highlights. But of course, what I took from it was Dominic, or I don't think it was Dominic. It was Domi or something, something like that. I think it was Dominique. It wasn't Dominic. It was Dominique. But we called her Domini or something like that for short. I don't know. It wasn't Domi. It was Domini for short. I have no idea. But whatever the case may be, that was my kid. And I could see her face. She looked like she was biracial. Chubby little face girl. No idea who her mama was. No clue. It didn't tell me. All I know is she was gone. And so that was just a real eye-opener. But it wasn't like I was unhappy about it or something. It wasn't like I felt left or something. It was very strange. It's almost like that was what we wanted or something. I don't know. But, yeah, man. Really, 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 really poignant dreams. Did not have any bad vibes to it. But I woke up in prayer. The first thing I did when I got up, grabbed my Bible. And essentially the Bible was more or less, we're still on Job. I've been on Job the whole time I've been here. I read a chapter a day. And I think it was like Job 38, and it was essentially a bunch of questions about more or less how does the animals do this? How do the animals find themselves in this situation? How are they able to feed themselves? Does the birds know where they're gonna get the next worm? Do you know who let the donkey out to run in the wild? The Lord allowed him the freedom to, that kind of thing. In other words, you don't know where you're gonna be, but you best believe the Lord's got it under control. And so that's what the word was this morning, like spoke directly to my situation, as it often does. And I just felt better, a lot better for whatever reason, even though the situation is still the same. I think the understanding that my phone has been approved, that kind of eased my mind yesterday. And then making those phone calls, reaching out to all those different programs, that kind of eased my mind even further. Obviously talking to my uncle, having the blessing of someone who can help me financially to whatever degree. Don't know what they're sending. Hopefully it's what will take care of the business. That part is still uneasy, but I'm telling you, all the different things that I was worried about yesterday, it's almost like the Lord has put a certain faith covering over me that I didn't have yesterday, that it would protect me from feeling as down as I did yesterday. Makes me think I might be bipolar or something, honestly, because there's so many ups and downs with the same problems. But I'm prayerful and I'm moving forward, and I'm just thankful that it is a lot that I'm learning to respect that I didn't respect before. I thought I respected it. I considered myself a good person, but once you start going through certain things and you realize you can do more, you could be more humble. You could be more respectful of certain things. You could have more empathy in certain situations. And I think that's what I'm gaining. That doesn't mean that things can't get significantly worse. But what I'm saying is the Lord is essentially telling me that it's not necessarily what he wants for me. I don't know why he would allow that to be for others. And that's one of the things I've been talking to him about. I talked to God yesterday while I was in the shower, in the down space, and I'm going to share this with you. I was telling the Lord, why, and it's just my own perspective. I don't expect nobody to share this, but like, why does it seem like he favors the enemy over all of us? He lets the enemy run amok, affecting the earth, affecting whatever. Why hasn't he wiped him away? Why do we have to fulfill revelations? Why is that even necessary? You're God. He's trying to embarrass you, take everything from you, do everything to you. You say there's no two gods. You tell us, in every religion I can think of, that there's only one God. Why is he still around to do all the devilish deeds that he does? And I told God, I was like, I don't understand that, and I don't like it. I don't like it that the enemy gets to run amok like this, gets to affect all of us, have us feeling down about things that you done promised us. And one of the reasons why I was having such a bad day is not because I didn't believe in God. It was because I was trying to get from the point I was in to the point where the blessings come, and that's so difficult. I say, and just like I see in the Bible oftentimes, people are struggling when they know of God. It's not just non-believers who struggle with the world's circumstances. It's those of us who are close to God, believe in God, pray to God, who know he's going to help us, who knows there's a path to our peace, who still struggle. And to me, that seems like a mark of the enemy attacking us. And it's like, why is he even there to attack? Why are we waiting for the revelations or what have you to come through and do all this horrible stuff to this turn the world? Why don't you just do this, wipe him away, and let us keep going forward? And to me, it feels like it's because he favors him. He's his favorite angel, and he turned on him, and it's like, it's almost like I can't let him go. And I'm like, yeah, but you letting us all suffer his ills while you're trying to figure that out. While you going through the motions about losing that one angel, you got all these humans suffering. You got all the angels trying to watch over whatever the case may be, all the stuff that I don't understand, but I can clearly see spiritual energy in that warfare. Why do we even have a war? Why don't you just him out of here? Bring peace to the world without all that suffering. People losing their kids, suffering and ills, having, all kinds of stuff that goes on that is just beyond me, but horrible in nature. And it just seems to me that the Lord is allowing the enemy to run amok while he's still trying to figure out a way to convince himself to destroy that dude, or convince himself that he could turn him around. Like, he's committed to being your opposite. Wipe him away and send us into a place of peace where we all deserve to be, because it's too much suffering, too many people following him toward what it is that feels good, only to have everlasting suffering in hell. It's like, if that's really a thing, why are we all suffering that just so he can exist? When you already told us you want to wipe him away. And so that is the fight that I had with God yesterday, as I was at my lowest, because I was like, Lord, I don't even know how. At that point, I still hadn't reached the space where anything good had really made me feel any different. I was at my lowest. I'm like, I feel like leaving this place. I don't feel like living no more. Why am I on the verge of not wanting to live anymore, while the enemy gets to continue to do what it is that he does? Smiling and doing all kinds of stuff, laughing in our faces as he continues to dance about. Do you favor him that much over us? Do you really favor turning him into whatever you want to turn him to, and all this path to whatever you have in regards to him? Do you really favor his story over us, that you would allow him to do so much? And so I don't know if that's probably been said by everybody who's ever went through anything. I'm sure at any given point believers have come to that conclusion on their own, but it was one I came to yesterday, like, you're letting him run amok. And if ain't nobody ever told you in prayer, it's hurtful to have someone that's turned completely against you and is trying to turn all of us against you still be able to thrive while a lot of us suffer. Even temporarily, even though you plan on jobbing us all and giving us everything we're supposed to get back, even though you plan on helping us get through these circumstances, it's like, but it's the path too. It's the process of waiting for. It's the process of suffering before you give it back that fatigues us, that wears us down. Why isn't that giving more credence on high, is what I ask. If you want us to suffer these ills while he gets to laugh and dance and all this, get him out of here. Wipe him away. Bring about the revelations that you planned, or just skip all that. All that don't really need to happen, if not for your will to see suffering yourself. And so that's why I told God, I was like, look, I love you, man. I'm not going to turn on you in any way. I'm not trying to fight for the enemy, but if somebody needs to say this, you letting him run amok. And at this point, it seems to me that it's just because you favor him over the rest of us, and I can't seem for the life of me to understand that. And still don't. So that's something that I've been talking to God about over the last 24 hours. He's not showing me that he's angry at me for saying it. In fact, he said more or less to me that he understands my point of view. Now, I don't understand everything I need to understand to make it make sense yet. Maybe I will, maybe I won't, but that's not quite the perspective that it actually is. But I tell you, I'm only one person, and from where I'm sitting as a spiritual entity who's living on earth in the flesh, I'm spiritual. Y'all know that. I don't understand this. And there's no way that I see any path away from that point of view as I move forward thus far. I don't know why he's continuing to let him run amok. That's essentially what I'm saying to y'all. So as I get the phone call that my friend sent me, telling me that my boy's, down and out even worse than I am. As I looked on my Facebook page and realized that my buddy Jose Bojorquez, the one who passed away a couple weeks ago, still has yet to be laid to rest because they're waiting on some permits that's supposed to be coming, but they're overloaded with people who've passed, so the permits are backed up in the city of Hollywood. It's like, yo, what are we doing? Why are we letting the enemy run amok? And for all time, not just right now, just forever, since the beginning of time, you've been letting this dude poison the well, convert people to evil, coerce people into bad cultures, all different types of stuff. Rig the stock market, all different types of stuff. You name it, any type of evil you can think of, and smile about it. And it's like, nah, fam, no. I need my God, and I've said this to you guys. I need my God to do more, and I've said this. I said it on camera, and in this situation, I say it now. This is not the first time I said it. He needs to do more. He's gonna have to help us in ways that don't have us suffering the ills of the enemy while the enemy smiles. We need that. Because there's too much suffering going on for all time. Not just right now. Forever since it's begun. It's been too much dang suffering. And promises of things getting better. And promises of the sun coming back. And it's too much. It's too much suffering, man. I'm barely surviving my life. And everybody around me is either thriving in evil, more or less, or barely surviving theirs. And God wants us to trust him. And I'm telling you, he can help us with that by making this make more sense to us. And I know it's a bit blasphemous to be questioning God, but I'm telling you, I love God. And he speaks to me clearly. So there ain't no reason for me not to be able to speak to him clearly. He's honest with me. I'm honest with him. This hurts. I ain't angry. I ain't want to fight God. None of that. I'm telling him, yo, you are hurting your people while you doing this dance with your enemy, of whom you love very much, and it's so very clear. And maybe you got it all under control, but I'm telling you, while that's going on, you are wearing us down. You're wearing us down by allowing him to run amok. And that's just what I had to say to God, man. And I stand on that as a living person and as a spirit. Regardless of how much time I got left, I will tell him that when I see him too. When this is over with, I'm going to have that conversation with him. Like at some point in time, you're going to have to let him go so you don't lose the rest of us. You have to let him go so that we don't find ourselves so exhausted that heaven don't even feel like heaven no more. Because that's what it is. Exhausted of the suffering, exhausted of the taunting, or exhausted of everything that comes with just the other side of good. And it seems so unnecessary when he's in control of so much. So that's what I wanted to share with y'all, man. That's what's on my heart right now. That's what's been on my heart for the last 24 hours as I've gone through the different things that are going on. I talk about how, the spiritualist, so to speak, hit me up and told me that they think it's a spiritual block. I'm not open really to a reading. I'm a Christian man. I'm a man of God. I got a connection with God. I don't need anybody to give me a reading. I don't. But I do believe that there's some type of spiritual block on my life that's kept me from doing all I need to do. The enemy probably touched me early in life to keep me from actually reaching my highest point this soon. And maybe the Lord can do a lot of good with that, but at the same time, it's like I have a lot of potential. And you let him touch me, so to speak, to cap that potential. Why do you favor him over me? And I ain't never intended to turn on you. I would have never did that. You see what I'm saying? I would have never tried to turn people on against God. I would have never tried to coerce people into bad culture. None of that. Why is he favored over all the angels? Why is he favored over all the people? BDF 44. I thank you all for watching.